Welcome to Matters of DeCorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. So, still working on the fantasy setting, populating the map that the players are initially going to find themselves. Pardon me, a little bit of a cold. I'm over the worst of it, but now I'm draining, and it takes a while. So, if there's any jump cuts, you know why. So we've established the Relian hegemony last time, the industrialized, alchemical, more or less evil empire monarchy that is they're kind of set up kind of in opposition to everyone else, but no better or worse than the other nations. I need to balance these so that they work together. This one I wanted to do. I'm going to take a little inspiration from the most recent run of the X-Men, and a couple of other things in there. There's a lot of things you can do with a standard society with, say, magic or alchemy or enchantment, things that are going to make it stand out, make it a fantasy world thing to begin with. Fortunately, Victory has a few other areas that I can explore, one of which is psionics, a real dropped ball in 5th edition D&D, but it's something that's I've kind of expanded on and explored, and there's a whole bucket of different specifically psionic abilities, and I kind of like to play with those. And so I start thinking psionics, mental abilities, telepathy, communication, empathy. I start to think of a place that is a little bit more open and accepting, and perhaps a little bit more ruthless at the same time. So back before this continent settled into this 3-nation structure, back in history, there was a persecuted class just across the entire continent, and those people were mostly telepaths, other psionicists, people with a little telekinetic ability, or fire starters, what have you, and they fled. They left where they were at. There was considered a curse from the gods, or they were considered unclean somehow. Telepaths make people nervous. A awakening telepath who is not as in control of their powers is going to start reading all the minds around them. And even if you were a telekinetic and pushing things over, or things were spontaneously igniting in your head or in your hands, none of that is as terrifying to the populace around you as someone who suddenly knows what everyone is thinking. Someone who can suddenly read everyone's mind. Because that person does not have the maturity to understand they need to not talk about what they have found in everybody's minds. They're getting, if they survive the town's ire, they're getting chased out on a rail. They're getting tarred and feathered, or otherwise cast out, banished from their land. If they're lucky, they're banished. They might have to escape their fate. A little precognizance, a little telepathy, and you understand people are really angry and coming to kill you. Or you see the future in which they get at you with torches and pitchforks. You leave. Because there is a certain amount of ability for psionicists to discover other psionicists. Telepaths in particular are really good at finding other telepaths. They'd eventually congregate. They found a small country that was willing to take them in, where they were welcome. Back before there were these huge monolithic structures of government, this a little place, a kindly queen with a court that might have had a psionicist or two on the court to begin with, who agreed to help find these people, bring them there, take care of them, nurture them, train them. And for 100 years, this society rewrote itself. Can you imagine a society where uh, telepathy is practiced politely? You can't just automatically dive into the core of someone's mind, but a lot of conversations are held telepathically. A lot of them. The conversations that you trust are going to be held telepathically. Law enforcement, a lot of those folks are going to be telepaths, and they are going to have open and honest conversations about how they. I would like to have this conversation telepathically because will let me know if there's any dishonesty involved, and we'd like to avoid that. I will keep my conversation to this matter. Someone had their berries stolen. I'm only going to be talking to you about the berries. We're only going to telepathically commune about the berries. And if you didn't steal the berries, you have nothing to fear. That could get out of control. But if you have an entire society that can balance that power by their own, other people around will know if you're trying to frame me, officer, so I guess that works. Courts can be these rituals of telepathic contact and mind probes that are delicate and gentle so that people, oh man, that's the court systems is probably where this would immediately hit, because you can have a standard trial. The kind of the queen would all of the have insisted, you can always have just a standard trial. No mind reading, no tricks, no stuff. And if there are questions about how things have played out, we can do that. Or if you are accused of a crime, if you find that you are, you can just, I would like to clear my name. I would like a ritual of cleansing, please, which is not a religious thing of getting your, of getting spiritually cleansed, but of going to a court, sitting in front of a table with three psionists, three telepaths at it, and affirming that you are innocent. I am innocent of this charge. This is the charge that I've been charged. This is what I've been charged with. I am claiming that I am innocent of that charge. Would you please look in my mind on this matter and determine whether or not I am innocent? Three telepaths read you, and if all three telepaths agree on what have they read in your mind, no, he's fine. It's hard to trick three telepaths. A really talented telepath or someone who's got some training in being deceptive with their mental patterns might be able to fool a telepath, might be able to fool two. But if three telepaths have gently looked into your mind, checked your at the deepest level whether or not you are actually innocent of this crime, or whether if you have committed it, whether you are aware you committed it, because in a psionic civilization, that's a possibility. But read the mind. Well, if all three of the telepaths agree, then no one attempted to skew them. So, yes, this person is declared innocent. You may exclude him from the list of suspects. This person did not commit that crime. Going to law enforcement preemptively is like, oh, geez, someone killed my political rival, and this is going to look really bad. I would like to submit to a ritual cleansing. I will publicly submit to a ritual cleansing to determine that I did not kill my political rival, nor did I have them killed. Please check for that. And if there was any tampering, was someone was mind controlling them or mentally dominating them, then the three telepaths would probably see signs of that and maybe start to investigate, or we have determined that this person did the crime, but they were influenced to do so. We're going to have an inspector look through your mind for traces so they can find who did this. Now, people who are forensically psionic take over from there. Started civilization where there's going to be a little bit more trust. Because your people who are in charge, they're kind of required to do a cleansing. If there is any impropriety mentioned, this person says you did something to them, and alderman, I'm sorry, that's not acceptable behavior. I understand you are claiming that you're innocent. Will you submit to a ritual cleansing? If they will, then they do the ritual. It's an afternoon, and they are declared innocent of the crime of which they have been accused. And perhaps the accused is then examined to see if someone influenced them, or if they have, or if there is some other trauma, because at that point in time, it's less a law enforcement matter, and someone might not be entirely well if they're doing something like that. If you're accusing someone in a society where their innocence can be determined rather quickly, and they didn't do it, well, maybe someone made them look like that. Maybe this does look like that. Well, this person's innocent, but we can see that someone who looks very much like that did this. Let's see if we can find any psionic traces of powers used to change your mind, influence you, alter your memory, or if someone had used biopsionic powers in your presence so that they could convince you that they were this person. Your criminals would have to be very smart and very potent. They'd have to be able to shield and cover their activities. So you get a society where you've got a clever criminal class out there, but they also know that an entire society of telepaths will find them if they push their luck. Careful, powerful criminals. And you've got people like that, then they're eventually going to form their own social class, whether they're a part of a guild structure or that eventually becomes a government. People who are necessarily guilty of some crimes in order to maintain the peace or the national security. These people so we have a society of people who are thrown out of their land and show up to this place where they have tea and cookies with a nice person on the border who has a conversation with them, asks if they have permission to, can I look through your mind to see if there's anything, nothing too intrusive. I just want to see if there's anything in the recent past. You're not running from a crime, are you? You're not showing up here because you committed a whole bunch of murder someplace else, did you? Because now, if you did, we would like to help you. We would like to see what is wrong with you mentally and see if it can be corrected. At the very least, identify it so that you know that there's a problem and that you can get it corrected down the line. If you do want to get it corrected, you may enter our country and we will put you in a facility where you'll be, where we're trained physicians will take care of that problem. And if you don't want it corrected, we understand your mind is sacrosanct and we observe that right, but you cannot enter our borders. And we will know if you cross our borders and you will be escorted out as many times as is necessary. Yes, we are a haven for psionicists, but you can't be a dick about it. Or someone who has taken a potion to mimic psionic abilities so they could sneak into this country. Well, sorry, we recognize that alchemy. That's not going to fly here. We appreciate you wanting to come to our country, but you're going to have to leave now. Is anyone who isn't psionic going to be allowed in? Well, of course. Yes, you can come into our country. Here are our laws. If you break any laws here or are accused of breaking any laws here, because you are a visitor in our country, you will have the option of doing a ritual cleansing to determine your innocence. And if you do not want to subject yourself to that, that is understandable. We have another court. It is much slower, but no less thorough. And we will get to the bottom of this, but you'd be stuck with us for a little while. But the ritual of cleansing, that's an afternoon. And just here is a brief listing of our laws and a couple of guidelines that will carry you through. Enjoy your stay. How long are you staying? Yeah, up to a month. That's fine. Can't move there though. Can't live there unless you have family who is already there. You want to marry off to someone in this country? Sure. Okay. We have determined that there is nothing pernicious about you have a genuine romance and a deep love, and well, we really appreciate that. So so the visa granted. Come on in, and your spouse might have to vouch for a couple of things, but we'll get the paperwork started and welcome new immigrant. I suppose under a few other cases, if you're a refugee or are otherwise disadvantaged, if you showed up because there's nothing for you anyplace else, you don't know if you've got this talent, but every place else has thrown you out for one reason or another. You're an outcast. You've got some demon blood, or you've committed a few things in your past that you repent sincerely, but no one will give you a chance. You go, it needs a name, because once the psionic population grew to a certain point, and the monarchy was fine, but somehow the ancient queen was not going to have an heir. There were always discussions about how it's dealt with, and a seneschal ended up rising to the monarchy at the queen's last request, and the seneschal was from the court and somewhat psionic, and decided, you know what, we can take this as an opportunity to build something new. So a country where people could go, and be safe from where they were at, a haven, someplace where they can set up a home, a place where they had a place to sleep and a roof over their head, and a fire in the main room, and the hearth, the home hearth. Havenhearth. That is a wholesome sounding name for a country. Havenhearth. Welcome to Havenhearth. A place of safety, a place of home, a place of family, a place where you don't step out of line. Everyone's got that little bit of mischievous in them. That little boy who thinks they got away with stealing the apple. You did not get away with stealing the apple. It's probably not going to be a member of the guard who shows up to get the apple back. It's probably not going to be some stern policeman. It's going to be a mental note. We have someone saw your kid stealing an apple. I read their mind. It was pretty accurate. There's no influence. You might want to talk to him about that. And the shop owner, he's going to need his 5 silver. That's an expensive apple. It's a couple of copper, maybe. Maybe just drop that by in a day or two. Everything's fine. Just talk to your kid, would you? Let the parents handle it. Oh, now, I know you have these little urges to do some stuff, and it must have felt really good stealing that apple, but I know you stole the apple. And if you lie to me about it, you're going to get in even more trouble. And I'll know if you're lying to me about it. Yeah, that'd get to be a place where you are very polite and tend to be you're trying to keep a little bit of yourself out of that society. You have a little bit that you hold back. Everyone's very polite. There's always just a little something off. And you're trying not to hurt people. They not going to take that verbal offense as a hurtful thing so much. It's all going to be very honest. It's like when someone can go, you know what, I've been accused of being something. I'm going to go and I'm going to get ritually cleansed. And you can come along and you can see if in fact I am guilty of this thing that you think I'm guilty of. And that would have saved me some problems. I was talking about the apple, stealing the apple and a couple of copper. This is the kind of a place where you might see a breakdown of traditional capitalism. Why? I'm not despoiling the land. Oh, we've examined it, and yes, you are. So you need to stop it right now because we all need to live off this land. Well, if I could just give you some money to make this go away, I'll support the nation and saying give the governments a little extra something. I'll give law enforcement a little extra something, and I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing. No, you're not, because we know what you're doing. We are not interested in your cash. We're interested in you stopping despoiling the land. It's going to happen one way or another. We will shut this factory down. Yeah. Wealth might not be the determiner of social standing in Havenhearth. They understand money. They are bordered with countries that have probably heavily capitalistic influences. So those folks are using money. So Havenhearth uses money so they can interface with the rest of the world. But in Havenhearth, not so much. The nation mints its own coin and maintains vaults to maintain value for their money, for their currency. Then you got to pay for supplies, and imports and exports are given to you, often in the form of, well, we'll take your stuff and here's some money. So they've got a coffer, but their treasury's fine. But you're a shopkeep. You have needs. I need a place to put my wares. I need wares brought to me, and I need a way to let customers know that I have the wares. What do you get in exchange for people coming and taking stuff from? Well, I'm a shopkeeper. I'm a middleman. People bring me apples. Why do they bring me apples? Because I'm the person who gets the apples out there to other people. I take a few of these apples for myself because I am the shopkeeper and I need to eat. That's the butcher. He's got really, really good pork, and pork goes really good with apples. So he comes over, he gets a bundle of apples so he can cook, so he can offer some apples with this pork. And I get a nice side of a pig every so often to salt pork to keep me going. A little something preserved, a little something fresh for tonight. Maybe I get a piece of the head if the butcher's feeling good tonight. The cheeks, really, really tasty. You get what you need. I need some clothes. Well, that person who makes clothes needs apples. Maybe I keep some clothes around here so other people can get the clothes that they need. Clothes maker makes the clothes. People give the clothes maker what they need. I have a need that goes out to the community. I send that out. The mayor or baron of these, what community centers they have, that might be the person who can best coordinate the need. Some bandits from across the border coming over to roust us. Well, we need some defense. Who's on that right now? Hey, guys, we've got some bandits coming over. Could you go convince them to go away? And that might be sword and shield, and that might be conversation. That might be one really powerful telekinetic with a telepath backing him up, going to literally just shove them back across the border and tell them to be good boys, or there'll be problems next time. So you don't have so much a mayor as a coordinator, caregiver, someone who's just making sure everyone's got what they need. You make your need known, and that need gets met. Oh man, we've got someone who's hurt over there. I can feel the pain from over here. Coordinator's probably an empath. I can feel the pain from over here. That person is seriously hurt. How many healers do I have in that area? Could you go make sure that that person's okay? That was a lot of pain. There might be some mental trauma involved. Be aware of that. And the coordinators all talk to regional coordinators who, man, that village over there doesn't have enough of this stuff, but that village has an abundance of it, so let's just move this over there. Let's get some folks who can fly or some telekinetics. To me, do I have a teleporter on hand? Because if there's a teleporter on hand, then we can get that stuff there much faster. Those people need medicine. These people have medicine. Make sure the medicine gets there. Am I sensing some kind of a conflict from over there? Oh yeah, those people are engaging some enemy forces. Why don't we have some troops go over that direction. Or I'm going to hand this off to the military coordinator. I'm handling the civilian stuff. Okay, I got this. Yeah, let me make sure that we got troops coming in that area, and then I've got a good balance of abilities. Let's get some telekinetics over there. They're bringing siege cannons. Oh, that's cute. Get a line of pyrokinetics up the front and just make their powder go away. Yeah, that's good. The more powerful the psionicist, the more powerful the telepath. And the telepaths are probably going to be the coordinating and ruling class. They would like to not have anybody be the ruling class and just address anything that needs, but they also understand they require coordination. The line of the seneschal coming on down, or at least the office. No more kings, no more queens, no more monarchy. But there is the seneschal, the person who is in charge of things, the person who makes sure everything flows carefully, the person who handles the social events. And yeah, the seneschal, probably the most powerful telepath in the country, or at least the most powerful telepath that everyone else trusts. Because if everyone else doesn't trust you, then there's a problem. And you're not going to be able to work as effectively. So yeah, most powerful, most trustworthy telepath. Although the most powerful telepath might just well be able to convince everyone else that they're trustworthy. It's not a perfect system, but it's working for them so far. So you've got your telepaths who are everyone's going to have a little telepathy. There might be a few people out there who don't have a gift for mind-to-mind communication, but they can talk to a telepath soon enough and get a message sent. This place is going to have super coordinated communication. They're going to have a logistics net that's just unbeatable. They can move intelligence at the speed of thought. Someone spots something over there. If they just get the thought out, they don't even have to cry out. Their spies are going to be horrific nightmares for other nations. They can just hang out in a bar and read minds all night and have more intelligence than any other spy out there hitting the streets and doing the legwork. One telepath, one good telepath, a subtle telepath in a bar. That bar close to the barracks where the officers hang out or the guys do their training. Yeah, one telepath in there, one pretty telepath, even more so. Make people drop some of those barriers, and they're coming up to hit on her, and she doesn't really mind. They're all getting told no, and they will take no for an answer. But at the same time, they're opening up a little bit and saying, hey, here's what I am, that unconscious desire to make a connection. And well, she absolutely makes the connection, pulls everything she needs out, and thanks them for the drink, but she's otherwise engaged. She's just waiting for someone. And eventually someone does show up, work in pairs. The seneschal is the person who coordinates all the regional coordinators, who is aware of problems in the country. Someone in the smallest corner of the smallest hamlet has a big problem. Something comes up. Our soil is not supporting these crops anymore. That's big. That goes to the village coordinator. Village coordinator, that's pretty big. That goes to the regional. Regional looks at it, sees if there's anyone else having that problem. That's spiking. Those folks weren't going to report it yet until they made sure, but it seems very similar. Let me send this up the line. The seneschal hears our soil is losing its potency. We're going to have problems with our crops if we can't do something about this. What do they do about it? A thought rings out across all of Havenhearth. We are having problems with our soil. In a number of places, we are losing potency to the soil. Our crop yield is going to go down. We are facing a problem. I don't want to have to import grain this year. Does anybody know a solution? Can anybody find a solution? Psionic Google. You have an entire nation of people who are studying things, people who are learned, people who can travel other places and study, or who have these mass minds, colleges, people where everyone gets together and just puts their thoughts together, shares their information, cross trains, and people who can just psionically perceive the soil, who can do psionic spectrography. There's something missing from the soil over here that we have over here. Let's identify that. Yes, coordinator, I have a solution. Please send this up to the seneschal that if we introduce this material to our soil, we will regain the soil's potency and everything should be fine. Thought goes up. Seneschal gets that. Okay, I've received this solution. Does anybody see a reason this solution might not work? Okay, implement this solution. National problems get dealt with really, but we need a bridge across this road, or we are not going to be able to continue commerce with that village over there. We're not going to be able to get those people their supplies. Regional gets that. That might not have to go higher than a regional quarter. Oh, you need a bridge across that road? Do we have any bridge builders in the area? Do we have a lumberjack or two? Do we have some folks who can build a quick wood mill so that we can get the stuff processed to make that bridge happen? Anyone with experience in building bridge would like to go coordinate that for me? Sure. Get a teleporter to get that person to the proper place. Amateurs discuss tactics. Professionals discuss logistics. And this nation is a logistical nightmare for other places. They can get what they need to where they need it in really, really good time. They could build an unstoppable military. They're not interested. They could put together their psionic might into a single gestalt that has the strength to reach out and touch the brains of other. They're not interested. The seneschal is charged with not doing that. Yeah, he could theoretically draw on all that psionic power. He could start to put together constructs of pure mental force to dominate their opponents, but they really don't need to. They don't want to, because they're empathic. If they start something like that, it's going to lead to conflict. Conflict leads to pain. Pain leads to nobody getting a good night's sleep. There is so much pain in a war, so much pain in conquest. And these people know that. They know it better than anyone else. Like, you could conquer us in a day. Yeah, but that would be a day of pain I never want to feel. It's not worth it. It is zero sum. Someone else starts causing an awful lot of pain that's so great that these people can't ignore. They'll have to do something. It's like, we need to find as peaceful a path to ending that pain as we possibly can. Assassins are peaceful solutions. Assassins are very peaceful solutions. Pinpoint accuracy, minimum of pain, and an assassin from Hearthhaven, although they don't advertise that they have assassins. They don't threaten people with assassins. That's counterproductive. It's just that sometimes accidents happen to people who are causing horrible things to happen. Things over a certain number of, there's somewhere over there's thousands of people, but they're about to be slaughtered because of this, and their pain is radiating out, their pain and their fear. And could someone go deal with that? I don't want to no, I'm not asking, I'm not saying as an assassin has to go do that. I would never say that. I'm saying that problem needs to go away, and I'm detecting one mental influence that is causing the majority of it. And if something were to convince that mental influence to stop, I would be very happy, and so would the rest of us. The Assassins of Hearthhaven are not sanctioned nor condoned, but there is a school for them where they cross-train psionic abilities, flight, telekinesis, telepathy, mind reading, maybe a little light bending so they can stealth themselves a little more effectively. And they go and they deal with this. Maybe they team up with someone else. I will do the wet work. You go and do the talking. You do the talking really good. I'm better with the wet work. The talker goes in, hi, I'm not affiliated with the government of Hearthhaven, but we have noticed that there's an awful lot of difficulty here. There's people suffering, and we were wondering if we could help you alleviate the suffering. Or if the suffering is what you're trying to do, maybe I could try to convince you not to make the suffering happen. Could we find another way to deal with this? Maybe we can help. What do you need? And if that is not going to get anything like a solution that will work, the negotiator, strong telepath, with back in Hearthhaven, would never think of reading someone's mind without their permission, without letting them know, over here, that person is murdering people. They have abrogated their right to not have their mind read. Negotiator checks him out. Is there a hope that we can convince this to go another way? No. You know, this is not going to work. I can tell that. You've been very kind. Thank you. Start to back away. The assassin has struck before anything else can happen. They are good people because they are an empathic people, because they have elected a life where they can feel other people's pain. If you are not one of those people who does feel other people's pain, and it is determined that you are responsible for causing someone pain, there is someone in the constabulary who can help you feel the pain that you have caused, so you are disincentivized to causing more. That's not the kind of thing they want to do all the time, but that will work for a certain measure of the society. It is a polite society. It's somewhat guarded. There's always a little bit held back. There's something standoffish about those folks. The whole place came from being refugees from torture and death in other lands. And that still occurs. You know, they'll still, someone has the evil eye over in that village. Well, torches and pitchforks happened and that evil eye is gone. They're still happening out there, but you want to be able to get those people in. Maybe they help people who are fleeing that kind of thing. I know you people are all very upset and this person has offended you. They really can't control this. And I'm either just, let me just take them away. I will take this person to where they can't hurt you. Okay? All right, let's go. Just run. So those folks are out there doing this kind of thing, operating economically, that there's two other governments there that they've got to interface with, that they are not interested in doing anything bad to. Now, those folks might be bad. They might be doing bad stuff. We might have to do something about the environmental damage from over there at some point in time. Those people are causing a little bit more harm to their populace than we can really live with. We might have to do some subtle things. There's kind of a low war going on. But they are, it's going to look kind of hippie commune out from outside. People that are, they don't wear armor in their streets. They're safe. Yeah, that merchant who's basically just distributing wealth or distributing goods for everyone else and taking a small piece so that they can maintain themselves. That hurt person over there who can't work, well, they just get what they need. You know, everyone does what they need to do to make sure everyone has what they need. There's happiness in Hearthhaven and a genuine satisfaction. And because people have their needs met, it's almost, if not right on a post-scarcity society. Because these people have tremendous powers of the mind to bring to bear. And not everyone is going to be the most powerful psionicist, but everyone's got a little something. And everyone can call on the aid of people who can solve a lot of problems close to post-scarcity. So they can start working on other things. Their art is going to be incredible. Their education system is going to be fantastic. And their national defense, you don't have an army. Oh, yes, I do. You have no army to face me. I have everyone that I need. I have everyone that I need at a moment's notice where I need them. You can try me, you won't enjoy it. Just saying. So let's see if we can find a way to work this out. I will invade your. Let me take a few of your little hamlets to show you what you've got. Next day, holy crap, you weren't kidding. Okay, let's not do this. Yeah, no, let's not do this. Do you need anything? I could use a little of this. Could you use a little of this? Let's make some deals and not war. Okay, I like this place. not perfect. There's going to be an undercurrent of mistrust. There are people out there who may or may not work for the government who have their own agendas. People who are going to want more power, who are going to have access to that national coffer so they can get money to deal with other countries, to go buy things, or in some places, people go engage in practices that wouldn't be comfortable in Hearthaven, but you're good enough to cover that. Yeah, like I said, they're criminals. Their criminals are going to be terrifying things because they're the people who can operate in that system. And people who can operate in that system, just inherently dangerous. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. Hearthaven, it's a Psiocracy. The seneschal doesn't have to wonder what the people think. What do the people need? What policy can I implement? Let me throw a bunch of darts at this dartboard and see if any of them stick. What policy? No, the problems arise. Like the university could use some resources to grow. I think we can manage that. We've got a water shortage over here. Let's get some minds on getting the water from here where there is an abundance to there where there is a lack. Yeah, to Psiocracy, a government by psionics, a government entirely based on the psionic network and people utilizing it responsibly. Because no one person in that government is powerful enough to withstand the ire of the entire nation if they are wronged. It is not all donuts and butterflies. There are problems with this society, but I don't want problem. I'm not going to be able to create a society that has no problems. I can think of 3 names right now of people who will tear this thing apart, and I'm hoping that they do. But that means that there are things that need to be addressed, and if you have a society with things that need to be addressed, then you have the basis for storytelling in that society. Storytelling doesn't come from perfection. Storytelling comes from conflict and comes from obstacles to be overcome. And if that is the land that you live in the government, a healer from this place would be revered and trained and powerful. And yeah, sorry, brain's getting a little random. I'm good. I think I'm good at this point in time. Hearthaven, Relian hegemony, and Hearthaven. Next time, let's finish it up and come up with what's going to fill in the blank for the third one. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, give me a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. If there's anything else you'd like to hear me cover, if you have your own thoughts on the Psiocracy or how Hearthaven would function, problems that it might have, or things that you can see about that kind of a structure, please let me know. Things you'd like to hear me talk about, questions you'd like to hear me answer, subjects you would like to hear me cover, please leave me a comment below. I will love getting your comment. You will love leaving me one. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, why not? My channel is awesome. Please hit the subscribe button. If you do, you might also want to hit the notification bell so you're alerted when my videos become available. If you'd like to contribute to the channel in a more substantial manner, I invite you to hit me up at my Patreon page, www.patreon.com/ScottCorum, and consider donating. Absolutely anything helps us me to make better videos more often. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'm Scott Corum. This is What Matters to Me. I will talk to you next time on the next Matters of DeCorum.